Hi, my name is Penny, and as usual, I'm here to talk about some bookish things. Specifically, today I wanted to talk about the books that are coming out this year, 2020, that I am excited about. I actually really wanted to come up with 20 books, but I could only think of 18. So if there's any books I don't mention that you think I should be excited about this year, then please comment them down below, because I would love to hear about more good books. But for now, let's talk about the ones on my list. Firstly, we have Come Tumbling Down by Sean Maguire. This is the fifth, I want to say it's the fifth. Let's say it's the fifth book in the Wayward Children series, which is all about these children who have gone through a magical door to a magical world and then, through whatever circumstances, found themselves back in the real world. They go to this boarding school where they can support each other, and most of them are hoping to find their doors again and go back to their magical worlds. I believe this book is going to continue the story of Jack and Jill, who we met in the first couple of books. Their story was definitely my favorite of the series, so I'm hoping that I'm going to really love it. So far, reviews have been good, so fingers crossed. I have a hold on it from the library, so I'm just waiting for that to turn up. Hopefully it won't take too long. Also on the 7th of January, we have Chosen by Kirsten White. This is the second book in the Slayer series. So this series is a continuation of the Buffy the Vampire series world. Continues on after the comic series, which continued the original TV show. I do think for this series that if you haven't read the graphic novels, you're going to be missing quite a lot of context. But if you just go into it expecting a fun YA story, then I don't think you'll be too disappointed. This is the story of Nina, who has been studying to be a watcher, but then she ends up being a slayer instead. This is another one where I have a hold at the library, so hopefully it will turn up soon. Then on the 21st of January, we have The Hand on the Wall, which is the third and final book in the Truly Devious series by Maureen Judson. This is a YA mystery where we follow this girl named Stevie who goes to this special remote school for gifted teens. Everyone has their own specialty. Stevie's is true crime, and she's hoping to solve the murders that happened at the school 50 years ago, but now some new murders have started happening too. Cannot wait to find out how this series is going to end. I have been constantly refreshing my Libby app, looking to see if it's turned up yet in the Libby app, because I've been listening to this series on audiobook and I'd like to consume the last book in the same way. But this is a great YA mystery series, so I'm excited to continue it. Then the next one on my list actually isn't even a book, but it's book related. On the 7th of February, the Lock and Key Netflix adaptation is coming out. So Lock and Key is my favorite graphic novel series. Is that still true, or is Descender my favorite now? I'm not sure. Let's say my favorite horror graphic novel series. It's all about this house where there are different keys, and when you use these keys you can get different abilities. Like sometimes you go through the door, you become a ghost. Sometimes you go through and it changes your gender. You can also like unlock people's heads and go in their minds. All these different keys have different abilities, and there's creepy weird shit going on, and I love it, and I cannot wait to see what they do with it in the Netflix series. Then on the 21st of April, we have The Deck of Omens by Christine Lynn Herman coming out. This is the sequel to The Devouring Grey, which was quite a hyped book in 2019. This is about a town where there are 4 founding families, each of which have different kind of abilities. And these founding families are protecting the town from this monster that lives in this fog. Except some of the founding family members haven't gotten their powers, so there's some weird stuff going on. It's got this intergenerational thing, and our main character has just returned to the town not knowing anything about this and discovering that in fact her family is one of these founding families and she has some kind of ability. I quite enjoyed the first book, but I'm really hoping that the second book is going to take it even further and be even better. Then on the 19th of May, we've got Mallorie by Josh Malerman. So this is the sequel to Bird Box, which is all about this woman named Mallorie who is trying to get these 2 children to safety in a world where something is happening that when people see this something, it's very mysterious, then they get very violent, they kill other people, kill themselves. it's not a good time, so everyone's walking around with blindfolds on. So in the Bird Box, we've got two timelines, one where this whole thing is starting, and then another one where Mallorie is trying to get these two children to safety. When I got to the end, I was definitely interested for more stories, so I'm excited that we're going to be getting that this year. Then also on the 21st of May, we've got The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. So this is the continuation of the Hunger Games series. It's going to be a prequel series, so following the original Hunger Games, I believe. It's been a long time since I read the original Hunger Game books, but I think I'm okay without a reread. I'm not, to be honest, sure whether this is going to be great or not, but I'm excited to find out. Then also, sometime in June, we've got A Sleight of Shadows, which is a continuation of An Unkindness of Magicians by Kat Howard. I just listened to the audiobook of this a couple of months ago, and I really loved it. It's following this underground society of magicians in New York. They're having a tournament to see who is going to get to run this underground society. But there's also a woman trying to change the way that magic is done, and she's super powerful and badass, and I am really excited to get more of her story. Then on the 25th of August, we've got The Nemesis, which is the third and final book of the Diabolic series by S.J. Kincaid. I really love this series. The second book went in such a crazy direction, not anything like what I expected. I know that disappointed a lot of people, but it had some time travel, so I was on board. And I just think the final book is going to be bonkers, and I'm so excited for it. We have this genetically engineered bodyguard who has been basically created to protect this wealthy person's daughter. She ends up having to impersonate the person she's protecting in order to protect them, as well as questioning who she is, whether she's a real human or not. There's also this whole thing where they use technology, like it's set in space and they use technology, but they've made it illegal to study technology or understand technology. So as things break down, they just can't use them anymore because nobody knows how any of this stuff works anymore. It's a really interesting world, and I'm excited to see what S.J. Kincaid can do with it. Then on the 1st of September, we've got Bridge of Souls by V.E. Schwab, or I think actually this is being released under Victoria Schwab because it is her middle grade book, and I believe she uses Victoria Schwab for her middle grade and YA books. So this is the third book in the Cassidy Blake series, where we follow this girl named Cassidy Blake, whose parents are making this documentary about ghosts, not realizing that their daughter is actually able to see ghosts. So through the series, each book they're traveling to a different kind of haunted region for the documentary. I believe this third book is going to be about New Orleans, so that should be exciting. And then on the 3rd of September, we have Empire of the Vampire, which is going to be Jay Kristoff's new series about vampires. I don't know any more than that, but I have been reading a little bit of Jay Kristoff lately, and I've been really enjoying it, so I want to be on the hype train for his new book when it comes out. Then, on the 10th of November, we have the next book of the Dreamers trilogy coming out. So this is Maggie Stiefvater's spin-off series from the Raven Cycle. I just finished the first book, Call Down the Hawk, and I need the next book in the trilogy because the ideas in this book were just so amazing, and I cannot wait to see what she does with the ideas and the concepts. And also, I'm hoping now that the characters have come together that the story will be a little bit more cohesive, because that's really my only main complaint from the first book. So I think that second book is going to kill it. And then on the 17th of November, we have what is currently being called A Rhythm of War, but I think there is some question about whether that will be the final title. It's the fourth book in the Stormlight Archives. I do still need to read the third book in that series, but so far, I've been absolutely loving that series, so I know that I'm going to want to read this fourth one when it comes out, because I'm sure I will have read the third book by then, or I'm going to be very disappointed in myself. Then I also have 5 books that are, for the most part, expected in 2020. The last one maybe not, but firstly, we have the next volume of Monstress by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. I didn't write down any of the information about these books, just the titles, so we're stretching my memory here a little bit. I think that's who it's by. But these are absolutely beautiful graphic novels about this world where there are the ancients, who are like animal people. There are also humans, and then there are the Acanics, who are the offspring of those two. There's also talking cats who have necromancy powers, and these old gods, which are like demons, and we're following this girl named Micah who has one of these old gods inside her, and the art is beautiful. So even if I couldn't read these, I would just want to look at the pictures. But also, I recently reread some of the books in order to read the 4th volume, which came out just recently, and the story started making a lot more sense to me, so I am actually excited for the story to continue as well. Then another book by Victoria Schwab, we have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. So this is a book that Victoria Schwab has been talking about for a long time, an idea she had but didn't feel like she could write it until now. I believe it's about a woman who falls in love with the devil and then lives for a really long time. Some kind of devil romance story? I don't know, but I'm excited to see what she's going to do. Victoria Schwab always has really great concepts, and so of course I'm going to want to read it. Of course. Also, back to graphic novels, we have the next volume of Ascender. It should be coming out. This is the spin-off series following on from Descender by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. I really should learn how to pronounce that one. This is a graphic novel series all about this world where humans and robots are kind of at war, although by the time we get to Ascender, things are in a different position. There's some weird stuff happening. We're following the daughter from a couple of the main characters from the first series. There's cool robots, space magic. It's an amazing series and I love it. As I said earlier, probably my favorite graphic novel series ever. But I do like Lock and Key, so... Oh, and I really like the art of Monstress. Those 3 are my top graphic novel series ever, so I'm excited to get new stuff from all those next year, this year. Then also probably in 2020 we're going to get the 2nd book of the Iron Covenant. So the Iron Covenant series was a spin-off series from the Kate Daniels series, which is one of my favorite series ever. It's set in this world where magic has started to come back, but it comes back in waves. So sometimes magic works, sometimes technology works. It's very unpredictable, and also magic coming back has made things very dangerous, as some very dangerous magic has come back. The first book was basically a hate to love story where one of the bad guys from the original Kate Daniels series had to get married to this other woman. I forget what she's referred to as, the White Witch or something. Anyway, they have to get married. It's hate to love. You know how it's going to go, but it's taken its time, and I don't know that I like this series as much as the Kate Daniels series, but I love Ilona Andrews' way of thinking and building characters, so I'm interested to see where she'll take the story, and I'm also hoping that she will include some characters from the original series so that I can still see how they're doing, because I miss them. And then the last book on this list, and I honestly 100% don't believe this release date, but currently Amazon is claiming that Doors of Stone by Patrick Rothfuss is going to be coming out in August of 2020. This would be the 3rd book in the Kingkiller Chronicles, which I think we've been waiting about 10 years for. Personally, from what I've seen on Patrick Rothfuss's blog, he's keeping himself really busy and he is really struggling with writing. So that says to me that that release date is probably somewhat ambitious. I would absolutely love it if it was true. I love that series. A few years ago, I re-listened to the audiobooks because I thought that 3rd book was coming out because I'm a sucker. So I listened to the audiobooks. I love the audiobooks too. So like when Doors of Stone is announced, I'm going to be re-listening to the first 2 books in audiobook form to prepare myself. But will it be by August this year? I don't know. Tell me your opinion below. Do you believe it? I want to believe it, but I don't. Anyway, those are all the books that I am anticipating the release of this year. Let me know which books I have missed that you think I should be excited about, or whether you're excited about any of the books that I've talked about today. Otherwise, as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.